Yo, hey, welcome to Crucial Conversation. It is I am him. 6'9" pigeon-toed, refuse to get pigeonholed. You know what it is. Welcome to Crucial Conversation. Crucial. Hey, look, today this one is getting to me a little bit. I was emotional about it. Because the relationship that I have with this young man that's on here right now was a relationship that was built through my little brother. Rest easy up there. Aim all day. You know what I mean? So that made me even think about him more than I already think about him every day. So I already knew what was going on when it came to that. Some passion might come out, some laughs, you know what I mean? Who knows what's going to happen in this episode? But we going in. So I've been knowing this gentleman for a minute. Watched him when he was young, you know what I mean? He's coming to the gym, meet him at the park with Aaron. You know what I mean? I believe that's around when I met him. He was always over at the house. He went on to do some incredible things with his life, and we came on here to share it with you guys. You know, when we talk about trampolining out of our area and getting out of the corner, there's more than one way. I'm trying to find all the ways, you know what I mean? So I'm reaching out to everybody that came from the corner that I like to call the Northwest. You know what I'm saying? Came from Tacoma, Seattle, Olympia, those areas, you know what I mean? So this person I'm excited to bring to the table. I'm excited to have a crucial conversation with Thomas. What's up, man? How you doing, my guy?
Man, I'm living the dream, my friend, living the dream. I'm
All right.
both humbled and honored to be here, to be on the cast, you know what I mean? Have that crucial conversation that we've had many over the years, but I feel like this one's going to be a home run out the park, my friend.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. Well, shoot. Off top, man, I remember us talking about even doing the podcast. And you were somewhere, you were early in the makings of this because Aaron was talking about it, and he was saying,
Mm.
he was like, Thomas he knows how to do all that. He got the connections, and I was like, what are you talking about? What is Thomas doing? He's talking about Microsoft and all the stuff that you were starting to get into. And so you were actually at the beginning before I thought of crucial conversations, before I knew I was going to podcast, before knew I was going to invest a lot of time into it, and just kind of jump into a new little lane, man, of growth for myself. So um,
Hmm.
it's interesting, I'm about 20 episodes in, and so it's kind of cool to have you on here now that I'm 20 in. Now we got now we gotta go back to the beginning again. We gotta go back to the beginning. So what is it that you've been up to, man? What's going on with you?
Man, just, hustling and grinding, to be honest with you, man. Like you say, I'm very grateful and fortunate to be one of the few people to come out of our neighborhood, the South End, T-Town, you know what I mean,
Okay.
90th. Um, right now, currently working at Microsoft, senior
Okay.
program manager. Just came out of grad school back in June. Got my
Congrats.
master's of science information management. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
What's funny
congrats,
about that?
congrats.
Like, I've been wanting to do that for a minute. It wasn't
Hmm.
until Mongo Aaron passed away that kind of jump started me a little bit. Was like, you know what, man, life's precious. It's amazing how something like that, probably one of the worst times of life, you know what I mean? Like one of the lowest points, but
Hmm.
something good can come out of it as long as you keep your head straight. And
Hmm.
me and him always talked about it. He always asked me, he's like, why don't you just do it? Kids and work and this, school's a big commitment. But then once he passed away, I was like, all right, bet. Like I'm doing it. And we were
Hmm.
supposed to do a podcast together too. Yeah, me and Mongo was talking about it. I actually bought my first two mics to do it with him. We were gonna do it from the hospital while he
Wow.
was still in there because he was bored and had nothing to do. Um, and again, sadly, we didn't around getting to it, but so yeah, man, working at Microsoft. Got a baby on the way. Got a little baby girl expected here in like 2-3
Congratulations.
weeks.
Okay. All
Thank you,
right.
thank
All
you. Got
right. Yes,
that
indeed.
COVID baby.
A lot of
Oh
those
man, so I'm
popping
feeling
up right
blessed.
about now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You get a lot of COVID divorces, but you also get a lot of COVID babies. And I've
Yeah.
been, I've been with my queen for what, 15 years. She out the South End, graduated
Mm-hmm.
Mount Tahoma, went to Pierce
Mm-hmm.
College, graduated
Mm-hmm.
UWT. Now she right
Mm-hmm.
next to me here at Microsoft, doing it big. Like, man, she's doing
Yeah.
it bigger than I am, Che. I'll be I know you know Deborah, man, but
Yeah.
she
There was
I'm
no
just trying to
joke.
stay on the team, bro.
I understand. I
Oh
understand, man.
man.
That's what's up, man. I'm loving the background. You went ahead and through through the mountain and the dome back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's
Hey,
funny
if I'm
because
not mistaken, man, I'm kind of looking from the angle. You might be able to see the palace from right there. That might even be
you
the palace
good.
over in the corner.
Yeah.
I think it is right here. That might be 30. That might be East 34th right over there. But
Yeah, right there.
yeah, you see yeah.
That's too funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I'm through and through, man. Like I love my city. Like, if it wasn't so far away from Microsoft, we would still live in Tacoma, to be honest with you. We used to make that commute from Lake Hood to all the way to Redmond, and we were like, nah, we can't do that. So we ended up moving up, but I make sure I still go back to Tacoma and people see my face. Like I just did it's called the Success Conference down at UW Tacoma
Mhm,
School of Business, where I graduated from. I
mhm,
do panels down at Pierce College, my alma mater, and then I also go to Mount Tacoma. I do a lot of speeches and a lot of workshops down there because it's interesting, Tay, man. Like you said, man, like there's a lot of pathways out the hood, but like not a lot of information about those. I
mhm.
remember when I was growing up, man, I didn't know one person that worked at Microsoft. And so when I did make it, I was like, hey, I'm gonna make sure they come back and they see my face. They know my story. They know the
Mhm.
struggles. And then I'm trying to give back. And for me, it's just trying to be that example that wasn't there for us. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
people like you know what I'm saying, that was hooping, and we all had that dream. I mean, I was a
Mm.
5'5" little Filipino cat, but we all had the dream to hoop. And then
Everybody was hooping. That's
yeah,
what we did.
that's what's funny. Yeah, I mean, if you grew up in the South End, like, and you was into sports, like you hooped, like that was. I mean, my time we had basketball class. You remember drink wine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
man, I just feel blessed. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to like, for me, it's about. I feel like it's that social responsibility. You know what I mean? Like if I made it and my community don't make it, then I don't feel like I really made it. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
like that's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
I'm more proud that Deborah worked here at Microsoft. Nick, Nick Trutman,
Yes.
he
Yes.
just signed his Microsoft contract full time. He's on board.
Okay.
My
Okay.
sister, teenage
Uh.
mother out Tacoma, she's here at Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? Like
Uh.
a couple
Uh.
of homeboys from the block in consulting. My cousins in consulting. So like,
Okay.
but
Okay.
we can get into like the how. Like I feel like people could make it happen
Yeah.
because
I'm trying
me,
to
bro.
figure that out, man. Like I'm seeing this happen. So you've obviously between you just rattled off about six different people, maybe seven, eight of them, and you've obviously figured out a path. You've obviously figured out a path. So what
Yeah.
is it? How do you say
Well,
how would someone set themselves up? I'm not even. I mean, you could be a teenager or adult, whatever. But how does someone set themselves up on a path to work at, say, like a Microsoft, like where you guys are at? How do you do that?
yeah, man. So like, for us, again, it's interesting because we really is trying to build a blueprint. You know what I mean? So like, in order for people to come out of situations, one, it's about the right information. Like, I
Mhm,
think that where we come from, there's a lot of misinformation and there's a lot of disinformation, and it's real dangerous. Because I remember when I was coming up, man, like, I decided I wanted to work at Microsoft at a super young age, and I could tell you the story behind that in a little bit, but you know, it's funny when I told people I wanted to work at Microsoft, they laughed in my face. Like they were just like,
mhm.
"Man, you got a C minus in math. Like you practically flunking out of college. Like you're not good with computers. Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
be, because they'd ask me like, are you gonna be an engineer or a developer? I was like, nah. And it's funny because in where we from, I bring things back and I keep it real simple. I was like, the people that is making the software and building the technology, they're probably not the same people selling it, right? Like you need
Mhm,
both
mhm.
sides of those coins. You be able to make a product, but you need to be able to sell the product as well. So in my mind, I was like, I'll be the guy to go sell it. So then I went into business school, right? So and then from business school, it was a simple like how do I say this? I got that degree, but then at the end of the day, if you don't got a network, you're shooting in the dark. So when I
Mhm.
think of students like coming up now, like they have advantages that they need to take advantage of or utilize that we didn't have when we were coming up. So like LinkedIn, like if I was to tell any student that wanted to get in the corporate world or be in the tech industry, and mind you, we are in the cloud computing capital of the entire world. You name any big company, they're here in Seattle. Like Microsoft, Amazon, Boeing, Starbucks, Facebook, Google, Salesforce. I mean, they're all here at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day. So, and first and foremost, it starts with that education, like getting that college degree, and whether that be hustling and grinding like we did, and going to community college and working full time and taking 7 years to get that degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just staying with it,
Mm-hmm.
because Bill Gates said it best too. It don't even matter what degree you got, Tay. Like, long as you get a degree. Like
Yeah.
Deborah, she make more money than me. She a higher level than me at Microsoft, doing bigger things, and she has what is called an IAS degree. It's like a general degree. Like, it's not specific to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Trutman, my best friend, one of the homies that just signed his Microsoft contract, he has a fashion degree from Wazoo. Like, I work with
Mm-hmm.
people with sociology degrees, humanities degrees,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
right?
Everybody's working there that didn't go to school for that. Like
Yeah,
social
because
workers are teaching PE class at schools too.
yeah, no, 100%. And
Yeah, for sure.
but the thing I say the most, hey man, the number one thing is actually just believe you can do it. Like, believe that
Mm-hmm.
is actually possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because Mongo was one of the few people that was like, "Oh, you got that." Like, a lot of people didn't believe in me, Tay. I'll be real with you, man. I don't even blame them. Like, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, we was getting in trouble. I got expelled from Oklahoma. I was in
Mm-hmm.
drug and alcohol counseling from that whole situation, on probation. It was actually that point that I wanted to work at Microsoft because and again, the South End of Tacoma. If you want to get in some trouble,
Uh-huh.
bro, you're gonna find trouble, or trouble gonna find you. And
It is
so that's exactly what
Tacoma.
happened. It's Tacoma, so that's what happened to me, man. A couple of the homies decided to go on a beer run before school.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to be with them. Again, I didn't steal no alcohol. I didn't even really drink anything. I was just in the car. So when they
Mm-hmm.
got caught up, I got caught up. Like, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
again, emergency expulsion from school, uh, what I mean, like probation, all that 9 yards. In order to get back into Mount Tahoma, I had to go through their drug and alcohol counseling program that was essentially the requirement, right? Because of alcohol related offense.
Mm-hmm.
And and I can't make this up. So in that program, the counselor's name was Mr. Angel, and Mr. Angel
What?
was
Come on,
like,
man.
Mr. Angel was an OG too, man. Like, you could tell that life had beat Mr. Angel down. He'd been through some stuff. He done picked
Mm-hmm.
himself up, and now he's trying to help the next generation. And my
Yeah.
first conversation with Mr. Angel, my first day in counseling, he's like, you seem like you smart. He's like, you don't seem like you belong in this program at all. And like, I see that you made some poor decisions. You gotten yourself in some trouble. But he was like, man, I feel like you could go places in life. And he looked at me dead in my face today and said, if no one's ever told you that there's greatness in you, there's greatness in you. And we're going to pull that out. But he was like, do me a favor. He's like, write down three things. He's like, keep it real simple. I'm 15, 16 years old, just got in trouble. And he's like, write three things down for me, man. This is part of the program. He was like, I want goals, a professional goal, a goal for like academics, and then a personal goal in life that you want to accomplish. So, I mean, I kept it real. And he was like, keep it simple. He was like, where you want to work? I was like, damn. In middle school, I went on a field trip to Microsoft,
Mm-hmm.
and I seen a Ferrari parked in the parking lot. You know what I mean? And when you from the hood, poor, grow up poor, you know what I mean? Like, when you think about changing your life, you think about changing your economic situation. That's like
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
number one thing, right? So I was like, all right, they're making money in Microsoft. I don't know what they do or how they do it, but I seen the Ferrari in the parking lot. They making some money up here. I'm gonna work at Microsoft. I mean, I was that simple, my friend. And then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to UW. Like, what I'm saying? It's hard to come deep in the Northwest and not want to go to UW. Like, I was kind of raised on it. So like, I was like, I want to be a Husky. And then the last one was, what do you want to do personally? I was like, I want to be a father. Like, you know what I mean? I want to have a family. Like, I want a home life. Like, my parents got divorced when I was 4. My dad was an abusive alcoholic. When I was 15, 14 years old, he tried to kill me. Child Protective Services had to step in and remove me and my sister from our home. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, it was like, I want to be a father. Like, I want to do that the right way, build a
Mm-hmm.
loving, warm environment
Mm-hmm.
for my kid. And I
Mm-hmm.
am humbled to sit here in front of you, Tay, and so I was able to accomplish all 3. But it started with Mr. Angel believing in me, man. Like, that was
Mm-hmm.
the craziest thing in my life, man. Like, my dad never, like, he wasn't like that supportive, loving father. He was like, you ain't gonna be nothing. Like, when you go to jail, don't call me. Like, not if you go to jail, like when you go to jail, don't call
Mm-hmm.
me. Cause I mean, I ain't gonna lie, like I was a bad kid. Like, he got caught jacking, like
Mm-hmm.
stealing, fights at school, you know what I mean? Like, we was in a rough neighborhood, even in Seattle. So he pretty much was like, he pretty much wrote me off essentially. He was like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got I
yeah.
got 4 kids. This one, he ain't gonna do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Mr.
But by
Angel's,
doing that, Mr. Angel, that's why his words came in there and pierced you and hit
mm,
that soul, hit that real you on the inside, because there was a void
yep.
there, and you just happened to be open at that minute. You know what I mean? It just happened to strike you, man. That's a beautiful thing. So you said that happened. What you was so you was what, 16? Would you say you was 15, 16?
Sophomore, yeah. So
Yeah.
when I got removed from my
Mm-hmm.
home from Child Protective Services, I
Yeah.
was 14 going on 15, and then when I
Mm-hmm.
got expelled, I was 16.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Um,
So and then you meet Mr. Angel. Do you ever know you ever try to find him? Have you ever had another conversation?
I have. I
Ah.
haven't. So we did the whole program together. He got me
Mm-hmm.
involved in the community. Like, that's when I really started like volunteering and giving back and stuff like that. Cause again, man, I seen this dude just, it was crazy, Tay, man, when like you have that male role model, when that male role model is missing out of your life, and then some dude steps in. Which, to be honest with you, like all my coaches playing soccer and do sports and things like that were like, I always attach myself to my coach, trying to replace or fill that void of that father figure. But yeah, no, Mr. Angel just stepped in, and then I don't even know what happened to him, because I came back junior year and he was no longer there. And back then there's no Facebook. This is early 2000s. There's no contact. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't give out people's numbers at school. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I never even got to really thank him or like show him that his belief in me and what he said I could do came true, man. And the craziest thing was is okay, so going to Mount Tahoma, you went to Mount Tahoma, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, you did. So yeah, I knew that. So when in the early 2000s, one of the, they back when we went to school, which even probably from when you were there and when I ended up coming in, they called those dropout factories. Like, we was graduating like less than 50% of our freshmen. I think less than 20% were even attending either, any sort of second higher level of education. And even under that was graduating. There was a statistic done by the College Success Foundation that said that if you're a minority coming from a poor community or an underrepresented, underprivileged community, then and you have a less than 8% chance of graduating college. So what
At
they
the
did
time
was,
you were at Mount Tahoma?
yeah,
Okay.
time we was in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm. So
And
what they do?
the Bill Gates, which again, man, this is a universe, it's crazy. Bill
Mm-hmm.
Gates, Warren Buffett, the Gates Foundation with Melinda Gates, they came in and started doing what is called an Achiever Scholarship. They was giving full ride scholarships to college. Like, the only stipulation was that you had to stay in the state of Washington, you know what I mean? And you had to have average grades, to want to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're from an underrepresented community, even better. And long as you were, financially, not poverty wise, but under that, middle class line. So,
Yeah.
bro, when they started giving those, it was like, man, like that opened up the universe. Like, I got one, Deborah got one, Nick got one. Like, most of the people around me that would just wanted it, like if you went after it, you had a good chance of getting it.
Okay.
Um, so I got super lucky. I snatched one of those up. Like, because
Mm-hmm.
after I got
Yeah,
in
yeah.
trouble and then they started giving away full scholarships, bro, I turned that ship around. Like, I went into AP classes, I joined student government. I was captain of the soccer team, like
So
volunteering in
so
the
so the
community.
whole time, like you hit a switch and then you just start going on, like just reaching for goals and start being a little more goal oriented for yourself and thinking
Yeah,
positive.
yeah.
And the next thing you know, positive things is just happening all around you. And yeah, man, that's some growth though. That's crazy.
It
Okay.
is. And
Yeah.
I wish I could be like the rest was history and it was super easy. I got the degree, I got the scholarship, I graduated college, went to my nah, it was it
It
was
gets
an up and down
deeper.
because again, yeah, because when you 17, 18 and you trying to support yourself. So I moved out, right after high school. Um, and I tell the story because I was about to go to so at the time, UW Tacoma didn't accept freshmen. You
Mhm.
had to, what I'm saying, go to community college and transfer in. So I was trying to go to UW Seattle. So senior year comes, I got my degree in hand, or I got my scholarship. I'm ready to rock out. You know what I'm saying? Get out of Tacoma, move to Seattle. Go to UW, and I had a good chance of getting in. My grades weren't bad. I had a full scholarship. Back then being a minority really helped. You know what I'm saying? So I'm ready to get out of Tacoma, and then my sister, 15 years old, comes up to me and tells me she's pregnant and she keeping it. And we're like, okay,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, all right. And in our community, when someone said like, when she was like, I'm pregnant, I'm like, nah, we pregnant. Like, I ain't going anywhere. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We gonna take care of this baby because we know the little knucklehead that got her knocked up wasn't gonna be around. Like, he
Yeah.
wasn't gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
step up. And he 15 years old, you know what I mean? Like, we can't like, what can you even really
He's a kid too.
expect from he a kid too? So I'm like, all right, then I'm gonna stay. I talked to the homies and everyone's like, I'm like, where y'all going? They're like, we're going to Pierce. Like, all right, say less. Go to Pierce, get my AA, and then I'll transfer over to UW Tacoma. Um, you know what I'm saying? It's funny because I don't know, like if you're from Tacoma, you know this. Like, we don't call it Pierce College. We call it Pierce University because you ain't getting out of there in 2 years. I don't care what you doing. It takes, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, so we took it to Pierce College.
Uh-huh.
Man, and again, play sports, man. This is what I tell people. And one thing, something I always looked up to you about, man, when it came to sports. And, because like first time I met Mongo, he was like, bro, you gotta meet my big bro Tay. Like, he oversees doing it. He's from Tacoma and he doing it. So you're one of the first people that I saw that like, had reached some levels of success that like I ain't never seen in my life. Like, I didn't know anybody that played professional ball. Everybody's a hooper.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Everybody hoop, but I didn't know anybody that went to some big universities or did anything
Yeah.
with even with sports. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
that was like a unique situation. And then man, it's crazy. Like, so yeah, Pierce was it was cool because like Mount Tahoma didn't prepare us for college. Like, look, I mean, I'm gonna be straight up. Like, it wasn't a difficult school to graduate from. You just had to go to
Mhm.
class. So when we got to college, man, I got my butt whooped. Like, I got spanked.
Mhm.
Because in high school, you don't turn something in, like, a teacher will kind of help you out, give you some extra time, like
Yeah.
work with you. College ain't no joke. Like, you they will take your money and give you that F
Oh yeah. I
every
mean,
all
yeah.
day.
I think the thing with college, of course, I mean, I was on a scholarship situation. I mean, and um, I ended up doing better in college just because they had the dates and there wasn't a bunch of
Mm,
extra work. My problem in high school is they were always giving me homework, and after a while, I just I wasn't doing it. You know what I mean? I'd be missing assignments, but if I buckled down and paid attention, yeah, I'd be all right in the class. But as soon as but so when I got to college and they give you the syllabus, when the papers due, when you got to take your
yeah.
final. And I was just playing ball. I show up in the class, ask a couple questions about something that I read, and once I got those answers, I was like, all right, cool. You know, so the college life kind of worked better for me, just on the independent. And then I didn't have to be in class with a bunch of people. Be it, I can just meet with the professor by myself. Go ahead, chop it up. Helps with the anxiety a little bit. It helped. You know what I'm saying?
No,
And
I
then
hear
I was
you.
just saying,
Yeah.
like, the thing I was telling you about, like, I mean, what you were talking about, and at 16, how you kind of what I found interesting about you saying that is that you had someone had fulfilled something and tapped into your soul. You know what I mean, Mr. Angel, and then from that, you begin to build upon things, start setting up goals. So I mean, you can get a goal might take 2 days, or it might take 2 years, or 10 or 15. It just depends on the goal. As long as you have little steps in there and you keep approaching it that way, that you're just gonna keep going. You know what I mean? And so when I hear you tell your story about what you wanted to do, it was the same thing with me for hoop. It was like, I wasn't very
Mm-hmm.
good. I'm trying to figure this out, but I love this. And I just love hooping, and just I was like, I gotta figure it out. So I just
Yeah.
start putting it, I just start taking little steps. I'm a just get conditioned. I'm gonna run more. I'm gonna pay attention in class a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna work out
Yeah.
some more. I
Yeah.
mean, and it was just little steps. And that's the thing that was great about Aaron, is like he
Mm.
he when I went overseas, I remember him just being so pumped up though. Cause I was pumped up, and he was like,
Oh man.
you about to go to Norway? I was like, yeah. And you're right. Like back then, it's different. Back then, I didn't know nobody that was overseas, so I didn't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good thing that the world is now getting Tacoma players out of here, because there was a lot of guys
Mm-hmm.
that were good when I was good in town, that was 19, 20, 21 years old, that didn't get the damn opportunity to go overseas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't get the opportunity, because it was still the whole stigma on the area. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
There was guys that could play some ball, man, that was out here. And so, and right now, in the podcast scene, I've been talking to a lot of hoopers, man, because it's just a beautiful thing. I talked to a couple guys that's overseas that are from Tacoma. So those episodes will
That's
be coming out. We
beautiful.
got Dontay Lacey, you know what I mean? He's in
Hey.
Yugoslavia, so he'll be on here. Um, so it's kind of cool, man. It's cool, man. So it's like, and you even in everybody's story, when you see guys that are starting to reach their goals, they all have the same thing. They all have a passion for what they're doing. They've
Mm-hmm.
set up a track and a path. Um, they've taken things from other people, like you know what I'm saying. You learn from others, pick up the positive
Mm-hmm.
things, and keep it pushing. Surround yourself with people that believe in you. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
You know what's funny? Like I always figure like you have to like set your goal. Like Les Brown, I don't know if you know who Les Brown is, but like one of my
yeah,
favorite motivational speakers, and something that he said really resonated with me. He was like, most people in life, they don't succeed because they aim too high and miss. It's because they aim too low and they hit. You know what I'm saying? And that hit me in my soul when I first heard that. Cause I was like, he right. Like I know so many people with so much talent that are just not living up to their potential just because no one ever told them that they could. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, like, you know, something that Mr. Angel also told me, man, he's like, your goal and your dream should be so big that it makes people uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mhm,
and something he told, for me, I always thought about it in the sense of like, I'm gonna speak this into existence. So when I figured out what I wanted to do in life and I wanted to work at Microsoft, I told everybody.
well,
I
yeah.
told
Then there's no,
everybody like,
you
yeah, I'm
can't
about
go back. You can't go back after you do
nah,
it. that's
nah.
hey,
And
that's how I did
again,
the
but then you
podcast.
also, yeah,
Yeah, I
you
was
have to
just like,
speak it
hey, I'm
into
jumping in. I'm
existence.
doing it. I'm doing it.
Yeah, not be afraid to make mistakes, not be afraid to fail. Like, and it's funny because, like, again, people laughed at me. I'll be straight up with you. You know what I mean? I don't even blame them. Like, I never look at it as like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I understood why they was laughing. I understood why they were doubting me. And even my own family was like, hey, like, you should broaden your scope. You should, look at other opportunities. Microsoft's a really tough place to get into. I remember my aunt telling me that when again, man, I'm Filipino. My grandma straight out the Philippines, like, first generation, like from the rice paddies, you know what I'm saying? And so like she,
He said
she
from the
loved me
rice
with all her
paddies.
heart. And
Uh-huh.
like no joke, like their family owned our family owned a rice farm back in the day. And
Okay.
so
Okay.
she came and she survived the Japanese War. So she
Yeah.
on that, you and your little first world problems. I go and take that down. No sympathy, just hard.
Yeah.
And she was pretty much like, what you gonna do for Microsoft? Like she loved me. And like my aunts, you know what I'm saying, were like, so again, she's like, imagine, I don't even know if you can imagine. So like, imagine going to your family with a full scholarship, talking about you could pretty much get into any university within the state of Washington you want, and be like, now I'm gonna go to community college. They gave it to me, bro. Like that, and it was from a place of
Yeah,
love, but there was like,
that's a tough
we
sell.
pretty much like we knew, yeah, they're like, we knew you were gonna be a loser. like you like you're not gonna even get into UW. They're like, UW doesn't accept people from community college. Like Microsoft don't hire people from community college. In their mind, Microsoft hire people from Ivy League, right? Like you got to go to some prestigious school. But they were
Mhm.
just seeing it from their own perspective. And for me, I was just like, like I use it as motivation. I use that as fuel to the fire. Like, in my head, I'm like, y'all lack vision. I was like, UW Tacoma has a direct transfer out of Pierce. I get my AA, I go straight to UWT. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
at the time, I didn't know, and I'll be real, they weren't wrong. Like, I didn't know how difficult it was. Like, it was difficult, man. I'll be honest with you. Like, even
Oh,
when
the courses you got to take so you can get to a 4 year stuff.
woo,
It's a whole different beast.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
It's a whole different
failed.
beast. You got to take a different set of classes. You can't take this any old random. It has to be a certain set of courses. I'm just saying I played JUCO ball, so I had to go to yeah,
You know that, yeah,
yeah, I know how it goes down. And then trying to play ball, they was like, nah, you got to take some more classes. I was like, dang,
yeah.
yeah, it goes
And
down.
I, what advice I'd really give to people that are younger that are listening is that, like, again, find something that motivates you. Cause like for me, it was soccer. In order to play soccer at Pierce College, you had to have your grades up. You didn't get good grades, you didn't make the team. So like sports actually is what helped me get through those 3.5 years of community college. It wasn't for soccer, man. I don't even know if I might have gave up. But I knew I had to keep my grades to a certain
Mhm.
level, right? Like I was never a straight A student, but I had to keep it up at 2.7 in order to be on the team. And I
Mm.
wasn't. That's the thing I love about team sports is that like you not if you don't make the team, like you're not just letting yourself down, you're letting the team down. Like we took Pierce College to the first time to the playoffs in 10 years when I got there. First time to we first time they won a playoff game in 12 years when we was there. So
Okay,
you
you
know what I
got a
mean?
little
Like,
squad. Yeah.
oh yeah, and it was me and my homeboy Mike Holmes from Mount Tahoma. Like,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, he was a baller. Like that guy, he could have really went places with soccer if he could have took it a little more serious. Like he
Yeah, he
was
was an athlete.
naturally football captain, soccer
Yeah.
football team. You know what I mean? Kahoot. Like he was that Korean African American mix, man. That makes them athletes.
Yeah, it goes down. It goes down.
uh,
I've seen it up close and personal.
yeah, I'm about to say, man. I saw the pictures of your big boy, man, doing it big.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that's amazing to see, man. Taking after his dad. Like that's what it's about, sending the next generation up. But anyway, so yeah, like I ain't gonna lie to you, Tay, man. After 7 years, like I failed
Mhm.
classes and I failed classes, and and one thing I would say is that like make sure that our mindset around failure is incorrect. If I'm being real with you, like because we're raised on a spectrum essentially, right? A to F. Like
Mhm.
this is your scale, and
Mhm.
when you're a bad student, you kind of live in that realm of, oh, no, I can't do that. So even though I wanted to work at Microsoft, man, like I never did computer science classes, so I was like, oh, I'm not smart enough for that. I couldn't do that. And reality is, if I would have put the time and effort in, I probably could. But I was
Mhm.
so convinced in my mind that I was unable that I just didn't do it. But for me, business was the next one, and I failed, bro. Like it's funny. I do major statistical analysis across like $80 billion systems for Microsoft. Like that was my last job within Microsoft. Was on a learning and insights team. I have a master's of science and information management with the focus on like business intelligence, which is like the data side of like business.
Mhm.
I failed statistics 3 times at Pierce College. Like, and it was funny because anybody else would be like, you failed once, okay, that could happen. Failed twice, you need to give this up. And I remember it was
Yeah,
halfway
no.
through the quarter, Tay. Like
Mhm.
I knew I was gonna fail the class. Like I
Yeah.
had failed the midterm, I failed the homework assignment, I failed the pop quiz. Like, and I remember my boy looking at me. He was like, "Dude, you do realize you failed the class. Like you're not gonna pass. Like why are you still coming to class?" I dead straight looked at my dude. Was like, "I'm just getting a head start on next quarter, bro." And I used to write this on all of my notebooks. But failure is not an option. And for me, the only time I would consider myself a failure is if I quit. I didn't care if I had to take that 4 times. because you had
Right.
to have that statistics class to get into the business school. So I was taking it as many times as I needed to take to pass it. You know what I'm saying? And I challenge, and I
Consistent.
when I speak, yeah, man, consistency. What did they say? I heard this saying the other day: consistency and persistence will build it. Integrity will sustain it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Mm-hmm.
and the biggest thing I see missing from a lot of people that struggling from where we from and not getting out of situations they need to get out to is one, again, man, people quit when it gets hard. Like, and it's going to get hard. And the reason why they quit today is they don't know why they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? For me, I had a burning why. You know what I'm saying? Like, I needed to prove everybody that doubted me wrong. Two, I always wanted to be the example in my community that wasn't there for us. You know what I'm saying? And like, man, so, and three, like I had a nephew. I was 18 years old with a nephew. And I'm like, bro, if I don't set the example, like who's gonna set his example? You know what I'm saying? So like, man, I was motivated. But again, man, you graduate, they kind of pump you up with you at university, like, oh, when you graduate, you're gonna be good, you'll find a good job. Nah, without no network, my guy, like I thought, I'm gonna lie with you,
Yeah.
bro.
It's all
I
about
thought
the
they was gonna
network.
call me. I thought Microsoft was gonna call me. I was like, I got my business degree. Let's go. Like, where do I sign up? Do I just, do I call you? Do you call me? How does this work? Bro, I applied and applied and applied. No answer, no answer. I'm like, what is this?
Mm.
So
You
even
thought you
after
was
I
gonna be a
graduated,
shoe-in? You thought you were just gonna graduate like I'm in Microsoft right now.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
where's the paperwork? Let me sign up.
what a
Like you
contract,
were
what a
signing the
contract.
contract, like you just went overseas for basketball. You was out.
Yeah, I thought it
Here's
was
my
in the
contract.
bag. Didn't no one tell me, bro. That's a problem when you don't have the examples and the information. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was pumped up. Like, I thought it was, again, like you said, I thought it was in the bag, man. Um, so again, this is where the universe, when you stay persistent, bro, I feel like the universe, and you know what you want, it tends to like get out your way and put people and things into your circle that you wouldn't otherwise be there. So we used to I love playing poker, right? I've been at your house, I've been in your garage playing poker,
Yes,
Mongo.
indeed.
You know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
one of our favorite things to do. So we had a really strong home game at a homie's house out in Spanaway that we would play every Friday night. I used to go pick Mongo up and drive him all the way out there. We would play every Friday. One of the homies in that game, I come to find out, works in Microsoft. Korean cat out of Spanaway. And you know what I found out? This dude got to Microsoft and didn't even graduate high school. Didn't even have his high school diploma, and he worked at Microsoft. Oh,
Mm.
I was like, okay. So at that point, I was like, all right, it's possible. Because I ain't gonna lie to
Yeah,
you, I
yeah,
started thinking like maybe this ain't possible.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe this ain't possible. You know what I mean? I was thinking in my head, like maybe if I shoot for the moon, Microsoft be in the moon, I'll end up around the stars. You know what I'm saying? I'll still end up in the
Hmm.
in the area, but I was thinking like maybe Microsoft, maybe my auntie was right. Maybe this maybe this ain't gonna happen. But as soon as
Yeah.
I met old boy, I was like, okay, bro, you did it. And I, like you said, but we have to learn from others. Like I put my ego
Hmm.
aside. I wasn't like, oh, I have a degree, I should
Hmm.
do, like, nah. How did you do it? What
Hey,
steps
hey,
did you
isn't
take?
isn't isn't that interesting though? What you first thing you said, it was like you have to learn from others, true. But part of learning from others that when you're adult is also you gotta humble yourself a little bit.
Oh
You
man.
know, as a man, you've been taught the wrong way, or you're overdoing it because you haven't been taught how to be a man. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So you gotta humble yourself to learn something sometimes, crucial, just in case you guys aren't paying attention, So yeah, go ahead though. It was just interesting.
Humility goes a
Yeah,
long way. So I'm
yeah,
talking to my
definitely.
dude, and he's like, oh,
Hmm.
so he gave me his formula. He was like, yo, I used to work at this company called Volt. It's like a
Yeah.
contractor company. So
Uh-huh.
a lot of people don't realize this, Tay. The best way, if you're not a software engineer or a developer, and even if you are, the best way to get into like a big corporation like a Microsoft or a Boeing or Starbucks or Amazon or Google or Facebook is to get into contracting. So they have two types of employments. They have their full-time employees, which, right, you actually work for the Microsoft Corporation, and then they got contractors. Essentially,
Hmm.
they say, hey, I got a project. I don't want to dedicate a full-time resource to this. I'm going to hire another company to go hire somebody else to come in and do this job.
Yeah.
So, and I had no idea. it's called consulting. And I had no idea what that was. I was like, bro, consulting. I was like, isn't a consultant like an old dude that like, was in the industry a long time and comes back and like consult on stuff? Like, he was like,
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
it's just a fancy word for being a contractor. So he got into contracting. I was like, all right, say less. What contract company did you go through? Oh, you went through this company called Volt here in the South End? I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
went to the same place he went to. Um, and that's funny, bro. Cause like, again, like, that was like my first step in the right
You seen
direction.
the
So I go,
blueprint. The blueprint
yeah.
was there. You was like, aha, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's follow the
So
blueprint.
I called a company up.
Hmm.
Volt, and anybody that's looking for jobs and you trying to get into, like, they do all types of work, man. Like, these contract companies are a good way just to make money. Like, to be honest with you, if you're trying to support your family, like, so I go there and I'll be like, yeah. And they ask me what do I want? And I was always honest with any company I ever talked to. I was like, I want to work at Microsoft. Like, I don't want to set no unrealistic expectations. Like, oh, I want to be here 5 years. Like, nah, I'm trying to get to Microsoft. And I heard that you guys have Microsoft contracts. And so the lady looked at my resume, was like, I'm going to be real with you. She goes, your resume, there's no way I can, I can't currently today put you in front of any of my Microsoft clients. I was like, okay, well, let me prove myself to you and show you the type of value and work I can do. And then we'll have another conversation. She said, okay. So she put me on a different contract with a manufacturing company out in Kent called Flow International. They made like water jet machines. So at that point, I was doing like aftermarket sales, customer service, and things like that. And then, 3 months go by, it's going well. They're actually offering me a full-time job with this company, making, 50 to 60,000 in that range, which was a lot for someone that was coming from where I come from.
Hmm.
And but I'm like, nah, it's not Microsoft. So I called the company back, like, hey, I heard that, 3 months in, once I prove myself, I would be able to go on some Microsoft interviews. And then so the person that was my recruiter ended up quitting the company. And so the new
Oh,
recruiter came in and was like, I don't know what she told you, bro, but I'm not putting you in front of nobody at Microsoft. Like, you have zero requirements that we need for our Microsoft contracts. But that's what I needed to hear. So
yeah.
it's funny. I went back to my boy. I was like, hey man, like, that's not working out. Do you have any other, connections? Because he's the only person that I had, the only person that I knew. So I was like, you know anybody else? He was like, yeah, I think this other company that called Sojeti is hiring people. Like, I know a dude, what I'm saying, that works for them. And so got the name of that company. The dude that he knew was actually not really trying to even help out, to be honest with you. Like, he was one of which unfortunate, like, there's a lot of people from where we from that get those opportunities and like hold it close. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't trying to help nobody else out. And which I wasn't even mad at him. I was like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all good. So
They
I
was
so I
doing
hit
the
this
crabs in
company
the
up.
barrel. The crabs in the barrel.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. Hey, you guys, look, man. We need to stop the crabs in the barrel thing in the city, man. Come on, man. That should be over with. We need more maturity, man. Way
Mm-hmm.
more maturity than that, man. Calm down with the crabs in the barrel, man. There's some talent out here, man, in all kind of levels, man. In the educational field, man, there's some brilliant minds. There's some brilliant people out here. There's great athletes. There's, musicians. All you guys, man, we need to come
Mm-hmm.
together and get that popping from out here. The problem is we always crabs in the barrel. I
We
don't
got to
know
build
about
our
y'all.
community. We got to
We
build our
got to build it
community.
up. We got to build it up, man, for real. Crucial.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So I'm like, it's funny,
My
man.
bad,
Like,
man. It just be going.
yeah. Well, it's funny, dude. So like, I keep like, we Deborah has a saying, man. She said, "Closed mouths don't get fed." So I apply to this company. I think anybody that's going to go into the corporate world understand that rejection is part of it. You're going to get ignored. People ain't going to respond to you. You can't get mad at that. You just got to keep it pushing. So this company, I'm reaching out. I'm emailing. Or not emailing. I'm applying online. Nothing. 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 So being from Tacoma, having that hustle mentality, I was like, I'm gonna go there. Put my suit on, print out my resume. I'm about to go there. So I find out the location and I go sit there, bro. Like, I go knock on the front door. It's funny, as I'm walking up so it's like in a business building, right? So there's like multiple
Hmm.
different companies in the same office building. I finally find the right door essentially to go to. I'm walking up. I'm like, I just need to get through the receptionist. Like, right? Like, I just gotta be like, hey, just give her we call it a 10-second elevator pitch, which is essentially like, who are you and what are you doing there, right? So mine would go like, hey, my name's Thomas Bressler. I just graduated from the University of Washington, Tacoma with a degree in business. I really want to work in contract consulting for Microsoft, and I heard this is the place to be. Bro, I walk up, no receptionist. They don't have one. It's just an empty desk.
You had your spill ready.
Like,
You was cock locked, ready to rock.
oh, bro. And then there's like there's a door to my left, and I'm like, and there's a doorbell. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna ring the doorbell. Go to the doorbell. Doorbell's unplugged. I'm like, what is going on here? So I could hear people talking inside in the office though. Like I knew somebody was there, so I knock. No answer. Knock. No, I'm telling you, I knocked, bro. Like,
I was about to say, you didn't knock, did you? You said
I knocked. No answer. So guess what I did, Tay? So I go out to the little lobby and I sit my butt down. 2.5 hours I sat there. I was not leaving until someone came out that door. And I was like trying to position myself between the front door and the bathroom. I'm like, someone got to go to the bathroom at some point. Like somebody coming out this door. 2.5 hours later, man, a young lady came out. I must be the luckiest person in the world, bro. I jumped up. I was, excuse me, do you work for this company? I'm really trying to talk to a recruiter. Would you be so kind to get a recruiter? You know what I mean? And she said yes. I don't even know. I can't even say with confidence that I would have got a recruiter. I might have like given them a card or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, here, this is how you contact. Like, she went back in the building, in the office, and went and got me a recruiter, my dude. And so at that point, this recruiter, man, and I am not even exaggerating because again, no one told me the rules. Okay, I didn't know. I had no mentor. I had no guide. Like no one told me like it's rude to just pop up. So she came out kind of hot. Like she was like, "Who are you and what do you want?" Boom. Drop my 10-second elevator pitch on her. My name is Thomas Bressler. I just graduated from the University of Washington, Tacoma with a degree in business. I really want to work in Microsoft consulting. And I heard this is the place to be. And then she's like, okay. And then we have a little bit of back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, well, what do you really want? And I told her, I was like, I don't want to lie to you. Eventually, my end goal is to be a full-time employee with Microsoft. But, you know, with a business degree, I heard that getting in through consulting is the way to go. And then so she said, okay. Tay, she hands me her card. And at that moment, bro, I was like, I'm in. She didn't know I was in. I knew I was in. I was like, oh, you done messed up. And I will call her. And so she was like, I'll call you when an opportunity arises. And I was like, okay, bet. I didn't listen. I called her and emailed her once a week for like a couple months. And I would call and be like, what you need? You need a receptionist? I'll do that for free. Like, you need someone to vacuum the floors? I'll vacuum the floors. I'll wash the windows. I'll make the coffee. Like, you need someone to run out and get you guys lunch? I can go do that. Like, what do you need? You let me know. I'm willing to work for free. I just want to be in the building. And she may never admit this, but I'm pretty sure this is what it was. She kind of came to that conclusion. Like, I don't think I'm gonna get rid of this guy. I don't think he's going anywhere. Like, I was like, bro, this is my warmest lead. This is my only lead.
I'm going like, for it.
I'm all in. And so they finally hooked me up, man. They give me an interview. And advice that I give everybody, man, like if you work on your skill set and you want to work in the corporate world or be out in the business world, man, like you got to be able to articulate what you do and why it's important. I tell everybody to go on practice interviews because
what you do and why it's important.
Yeah. And why do they care? You know what I'm saying? Like, why the person in front of you, why do they care about what you do? And like, how is it going to benefit them or benefit the company? So I didn't have that information. So again, I just went in. I bombed it. I was so nervous. I bombed. I've been waiting for this opportunity for so long. I walked in and I literally, the young lady in the interview looked me dead in my face, was like, you should probably go do something else for a couple years and come back and try this again because you're not ready for this. I was like, dang. I was like, to my face. And to be honest, I could have listened and I could have done what she said. But in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like I articulated myself very well. And this is what's crazy.
We're gonna have to run this back.
Yeah. So the what and one of the other people, so like in the consulting world, you have like three types of really like important like roles. You have your recruiter, who's like the liaison to the company. You have
Mhm.
your account manager, who kind of manages like the relationship with the clients, and then you have the people that actually work on the job, like the project managers. So the
Yeah.
account manager liked my energy so much, they're like, you know what, that may not be right for you. Let's put you on this other contract. And this is how crazy the universe is, man. Like the same dude that didn't want to give me the opportunity, even give me the name of the company
Hmm.
in the beginning, I ended up interviewing with that guy. And he's looking at me like, how did you, like, what? Like, how did you even
Right.
get here, bro? Like, and I'm just looking at this dude like, hey man, like this is, I told him what I did. He's like, okay. And so they ended up giving me the opportunity. Um, And again, man, for me, bro, like I don't even feel good about an opportunity unless it's helping more than just myself. So as soon as I got my first contract, and it wasn't even a good contract, man, it was making 38 or $40,000 a year. Like it was, with a college degree, like I wasn't like rolling in the dough, but literally I got in 2 weeks later, Deborah's got a job. Like, 2 weeks after that, one of the homies got a job. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like now there's three of us in there.
Yeah.
um but that's how I got my first contract, man. Like I didn't like,
That's what's,
again, I didn't when I say I earned it and I had to like get in
oh
through the
no,
back door.
you earned it. You earned it, man. You earned
it,
it. Definitely did.
it was really just about not giving up, to be real with you. Again, there's so many points that I'm like, you know what, this may not happen. And then I don't want to sit here and be like, I had supreme confidence that it was going to happen. Like when I was sitting on that bench, man, I was doubting myself to the fullest. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm literally, this is kind of stalkerish. Like, I'm
Right.
sitting out this door waiting for a random person to walk out to snatch him up and try to get me a recruiter. But and it's funny. Someone asked me. One of the students I work with asked me the question. He was like, "Hey, if someone didn't come out, what was your plan?" I was like, "I was coming back tomorrow." And guess what? I was gonna come back and I was gonna bring donuts.
Persistent. Persistence. He
Yeah,
wasn't
bro.
going
What's
away.
the plan?
Persistent.
Nah, I
Persistent.
knew what I wanted, man.
Hey man, that just lets you know, man, positive things coming for you, man. When you that's your superpower.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So like I told you I just got a new job. Like so I just transitioned roles within Microsoft. I'm still in Microsoft, I'm just in a different area. And as I
Hey
was
man,
leaving,
don't be glossing over your superpower like that. That I acknowledge your superpower. You know what I'm saying?
no, I appreciate it.
I'm like Magneto, man. You know what I'm saying? I know your superpower.
Well, I get it. It's funny because my last boss, as I'm leaving, she looks at me and goes, "We're gonna really miss you, Thomas." And I looked at her, and was like, "You gonna miss me? Like you got data scientists from Harvard in this place. Like they can run circles around me. Like I am not the smartest person on your team. I am not the most like how do I say this, ambitious or like forward thinking, inventive person, creative person. You got people out here that are just blow me out the water." But she was like, "Nah, we gonna miss your attitude. We're gonna miss your positive energy. We're gonna miss
Mhm.
your ability to work in a team and build relationships. These are the
Mhm.
things that we're gonna miss about you." So again,
Mhm.
that's what I bring to the table. Like even my new boss, he even let me in on the other day. He was like, "T, I want to let you know why we hired you. We didn't hire you because you're experienced. You really don't have that great of experience in product engineering." He's like, "We hired you because, dude, you're just positive. Nothing can take you down." And so and again, man, that's been a long time in the works, though, man. Again, Mongo, I have a lot to thank from Mongo, man, because we used to live together. We was roommates. This is when he was first going through his his heart problems and issues. Um,
Mhm.
you want to talk about perspective, bro? Like that gave me perspective in my life that what really matters when your homeboy, one of your best friends, is struggling to breathe, having to go to the ER, you ain't worried about a review at work. You ain't worried about, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you made a mistake and now you gotta like, say sorry or something like that. Nah, like, I mean, when you go through things like that, like it gives you a certain amount of perspective that I don't even think any other lesson in life could give you. You know what I'm saying? And Mongo, he saw me at my lowest point, man. Like after Pierce College, like I hit like a downward spiral. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mhm.
wasn't even in a good place. I had stopped going to school for a couple quarters. We was all living together. Uh, we were surrounding ourselves with people that we should not have been surrounding ourselves with. And you know what I mean? I had lost my job, so I wasn't even working. My car got stolen. Like, I mean, it was a low. And I remember
Mhm.
sitting on my couch and pretty much in tears, bro, to be honest with you, like, and thinking about like, where did I go wrong? Like, how did I end up in this position? I was so motivated. I knew what I wanted, but yet I'm
Mhm.
still stuck here in the South End of Tacoma, broke, surrounding myself with people that's broke,
Mhm.
and watching my dream essentially slip through my fingers. And Aaron is one of the people that got me out of it, man. You know what I'm saying? I remember he came up to me and was like, T man, like he's like, you need to lift your chin up, bro. You took some lumps, you took some bruises, but you ain't this is just where you're at right now. Like you ain't stuck. You know what I'm saying? You're going places. And
Mhm.
it took a homeboy like that to really, again, I think another big thing, Tay, that like even where we from, like everyone feel like they gotta do it themselves. Everybody feel like they, you know what I mean? Like they gotta man up and be the dude that does it with nobody help them at all. And
Mhm.
that's not the way it worked, man. You show me any truly successful person, I'll show you someone that was there with him. You talk about Steve Jobs, he had Wozniak, Bill Gates, Paul Allen, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan didn't win a ring until you put a team around him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
8 years, what is it,
true.
8 years in? So I mean, like
True.
LeBron James, right? He didn't win a ring until he went to Miami. So like, you get D Wade on the team, you get Bob. Like when you put a team together, man, like you go so much farther. There's a
Mhm.
saying that I love. It is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that
Yeah,
is,
man. For sure. That's real, man. That's real. And it like for me when I, played a lot of hoops, so being a part of a team was something that was good for me. Uh, but I operate even my family, I see that that's my squad.
mm-hmm,
That's my squad, you know what I mean? And I play my role. My role has changed over the years, but now that I'm a little older, my role, I play my role. I do what I need to do um, for us to grow, and everybody has their role. That's my team, the family, man. And I
yeah,
think when you bring up Aaron, it was I think the hardest thing for me at the time is I underestimated his role in my life
mm,
until he was gone, and then I realized his role, and that it just hurt. It just was tenfold. He was
yep,
gone for one, then I was like, he's gone, and now I just realized. Well, I always knew, you know what I mean? It's a little bro, but I love him. There was a special kind of love there. You know what I mean? So once he was gone, I just started realizing the little things. And it's like, wow, man, and um when you're telling the story about how he was just positive with you, he seen you on your lows. And I mean, me and him have, there was times we sat on the couch crying just about life, you know what I mean? And
yep,
trying to figure things out. And he was that guy that'll let you get vulnerable and get vulnerable with you and help you figure out some things. There's not a lot
mm-hmm,
of men like that. Um, so I think that role that when I realized that was his role in my life, and it was just, I see him on a Sunday, he slides through.
mm-hmm,
And the conversation between me and him is jokes and laughs, and we might get serious every now and then, but just I couldn't be upset when I was around. He knew when I was pissed off. He knew when to leave me alone.
yeah,
He knew when to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? But it was just, when you realize it, man, hey, he did a lot of great things, man. He did a lot of great things. And I think that's why uh I continue to push myself in this podcast because even doing it, I get uncomfortable. My mind races. I go through, you know what I mean? And I don't know what's gonna happen with it. But I was thinking earlier that, people keep asking, what's the podcast about? What's it about? And it's like, it's about that. It's about growth. It's about not, it's about being present in the time that I'm in. and understanding what's going on around me, you know.
Yeah.
And it's about my journey and the people I meet along the way and what I'll do next. I don't know. But I'm ready
Yeah.
for growth with it, man. I'm ready for growth. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I got this picture over here, man. I almost got too emotional. I got to pull myself out of there. If I had some music, we have to play something hype right now. Play some DMX or something.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man, like, I whenever I think of Mongo now, bro, I laugh, I smile. Like I only remember the good stuff. Like, man, that dude, man, he brought so much joy. And like the Halloween's tough right now because we'd have a, Halloween family Halloween party every year. And he would slide through with the girls and Ashley. And I mean, I got lots of videos and all that stuff. So one popped up on my Facebook and I was watching it and I got a little emotional, but I'm just thinking like, man, he lived his life to the fullest. We was partners for a long time. Like,
Hmm.
again, loved him to death, frustrated me to Mongo taught me patience and compassion. Man, you want to talk about dude that could like have a passionate debate and really put his heels in when he
Oh,
believes
he'll
stuff.
dig in.
Like,
He'll dig in.
man,
Yeah,
but you need
yeah,
those people because, like, again, given different perspectives. I mean, one of the last conversations we had when he was in the hospital, I think I shared this at his celebration of life, which, man, that was a beautiful day. That
yes, it
was
was.
your
That was, yeah,
speech at his thing, man. I still watch it. I made that little YouTube video, so I made it for
yeah,
y'all, but I really made it for me because I was like, that was one of the best speeches I've ever heard in my life. Like how you took his initials and turned it into AIM, and then talk about aim to be a better father, aim to be a better brother,
yeah.
aim to be a better. Like I just boy, that hit me, man. And it's funny because that between that and him passing away is why I got my master's degree. Like I was,
Huh,
bro, 7 years. I wasn't going back to school. I hate school. Like I'll be our first
yeah.
one to tell everybody. I graduated undergraduate with a 2.7 GPA. Like I graduated by my fingertips.
Mm,
Like for real. I was like,
yeah,
nah, I'm not going back. But it's something that me and Mongo always talked about, because I always joked about I'm gonna get my PhD one day. And we'd always just, BS about it. And so when he passed away, I was like, what am I waiting for? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I aiming at? Like, what am I trying to succeed? It's funny because like when you look up the definition of success is to achieve an aim or a goal. I was like, oh no,
oh yes,
oh
oh
no, you feel
yes,
me? Like,
oh
yeah, I was like,
yes.
okay.
Aim, baby,
I was
aim.
Yeah. So I was like, what am I aiming at for real? Like, am I getting comfortable? Am I getting complacent? So I went back to school, man. Like, I used, that situation that we had to go through, and
Yeah,
it took me a minute. I can't sit here and lie. Like, I just was like, it took me a little bit to get in control of my emotions and like, let it really, go through my grievance and go through my stages. And then when I got out of it, man, I came out with some clarity and a newfound motivation just for life. It made me
yeah.
appreciate again, man. I hug my son a little bit harder, kiss my girl a little
Hmm.
bit more. You know what I mean? Tell more people
Hmm.
that I love them. Stop holding on to
Hmm.
grudges. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's another thing Mongo taught me at the end. Like he was forgiving everybody. Anybody he had
Hmm.
beef with, anybody he wasn't feeling, like he was forgiving it because, maybe I don't know if he knew or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like I felt like he was coming to peace with everything. And I'll never forget our last conversation. We were talking about ancient aliens. Like that was my guy right there. You want to talk about a
Hmm.
conspiracy theorist?
Wow.
Mongo, he knew who killed JFK. He knew he knew what alien spaceships were in Area 52. Like,
Yeah, he'll
man,
get to
that's the thing I
argue.
miss the most, man. Oh yeah, man. That's things I miss the most. But again, like I choose to celebrate his life, and I choose to like again use that as an opportunity to do better and do more. Because I mean, the fact that we're breathing, the fact that we're here with our families, like we blessed. Like there's so many people out here, and you know what I mean. Like, and I don't even like to blame things, but like you look at social media, you look at what it's kind of doing to our youth. Everything is you know a show. Everybody's putting on a presentation. Everybody's comparing themselves. Like I speak to so many students nowadays. Like I've been doing mentors and doing speeches, and I've been going back again. I go back to Mount Tahoma at least 2, 3 times a year. Not we have to do it online now. We don't get to do it with COVID. I speak to the Hero program out there. I do speeches at Pierce. I go back to UW. I just was at UW Seattle's Asian Student Business Association last week. I have another panel next week, and like I've talked to hundreds of thousands of students at this point, and the biggest thing that I'm noticing, man, is that again they're comparing themselves. It's always a comparison. Like, I need to be doing this because so and so's doing this, and it's like, man, it's a dangerous game that they playing. Like, and I try to let them know, like, don't compare, man. You're on your own race. Like, there's no reason. Like, your struggle, their struggle, they don't know what you've been through. You don't know what they've been through. Like, don't put yourself in a position that you feel like you need to succeed because someone else is being successful. That can't be your why, and then what it does is that it takes away patience. When they're comparing it, they're in a hurry. Like, all these kids are in a hurry. I'm like, you 19, 20, like, don't stress. Like, you should be having fun and like focusing on what you want and get in there, but it's still, don't waste your youth sitting there stressing about like an internship or like that job that you have to get. Because I'll be real with you, man. Like, if people want to get into the tech industry, if they want to get into like the game, like this game that we're playing, like, there's plenty of opportunity. Like, if you're willing to get a degree and put the time in and just educate yourself, like, there's opportunity. And they make good money, man. Like, they're making 6 figures, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I started off making 50 racks, and then that quickly turned to 60, turned to 80, turned to 100, right? And it just keeps going up. Like, but gotta have patience. It took me 12 years. For the moment that I was like, I want to work at Microsoft at age 16, I didn't sign with Microsoft as a full-time employee till I was 32. You know what I mean? So like, you gotta have patience. Anything worth building is gonna take a while to build. And it sucks and I feel bad because I can feel their stress. I feel their pressure. Like, I honestly feel it in my soul. And I'm just like, man, like, I need y'all to just take a deep breath, like, work hard, like, right? Like,
Yeah. So
but
when
more
you're talking, like
importantly, know
you
what you
explained,
want.
the when you go to talk to the youth, is
Mm-mm.
that so that's a program that's ran in all the schools, or there's just one in Mount Tahoma?
So it's in all the schools. So like, it's the main one I do at Mount Tahoma is called so it's through the College Success Foundation, which they were the ones that funded our scholarship back in the day. And
Oh,
the
okay. Okay.
program, it's called Hero program, or no, the one in Mount Tahoma. It's like essentially students that are looking to get scholarships to college, that are have college in their mind. My guy Mike Liptrap is the counselor there, and so it's through the College Success Foundation, and they're in all the schools. So I've been taught
Okay.
before COVID hit. I was actually talking to Lincoln, I was talking to Wilson, and a few other schools in the South End to come in and speak. But it's funny, like, I'm actually trying to get a hold of the principal over there because when I was there one day and I just got done giving the speech, and I'm real with it, bro. Like, I walk them through it. Like, I don't sugarcoat it. Like, I tell them that, hey, I walk them through what happened with my pops. I walk them through getting expelled. I walk them through 7 years of struggling to college because I don't want them to think that, oh, he just, it just
You
happened for him. You know what I'm
tell them
saying?
what it is. You gotta tell them what
Yeah,
it is. You gotta tell your story, man. You know what I mean? You gotta
yeah,
identify. Hey, look, man, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I
I
had to
don't
have you
sit
on this
there.
show. So, you just kept it 100. You know what I mean? There's gonna be somebody, one of these kids out here that we're gonna tag them. A couple of these kids we want to get in the tech
Yeah.
industry and like put in some hard work, just like anything else. And you know what I mean? You're a guy straight from Tacoma that's done it. You're working at Microsoft. You're taking care of your family, man. You're living a good life, walking in positivities with still more things to come because you're still walking with that same attitude. So it's gonna keep going up. It's gonna keep going up, man. So that's what's up
Oh
with you
yeah.
know what I mean?
We're not done.
It's just funny watching you do this, just watching you ascend, you know what I'm saying? Just keep going. For
Now I
sure,
feel
man.
humble, man. Well, at the end of the day, bro, like, again, like, you know, we have to give real conversations. Like I remember growing up and we used to go to like they used to bring speakers in front of us and like things like that. And they would sit there and they'd be like, here's the steps to success. You just follow this and you'll be successful. And it was normally some old white guy telling you to
Mhm.
do it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they don't know where you from, they don't know where you at, which is funny. So this is an interesting story. The first time I went to Mount Tahoma to give a
Mm-hmm.
speech to this group of students, I kind of like in my mind, I was like, I want to represent what I would feel like success looks like. I have my button up, have my watch, have my clean shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I walked in there and I still I gave my speech and they responded. You know what I'm saying? Like I could tell that they was feeling it, but it didn't hit like I wanted it to hit. And so
What'd you do?
the
What'd
next
you do?
time I went
What'd
back,
you do?
bro,
Uh-huh.
I went in with my hat, I went in with my Tims, I came in, you know what I'm saying, dressed comfortably, like how I actually dress. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, oh, bro, and I had it from the jump. Like again, because they're like, when you can see someone that look like you, that talk like you, that's from where you're from, it makes it more real. Like they actually
Mm-hmm.
believe that it's possible. Um, so again, the message was the same, but it just hit a little different because again, I was more comfortable in my own skin and what I was saying, and two, like again, like the first thing the kid said to me was like, "Oh, I like your Tims." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like at the end of the day, like it just needs to be more genuine, authentic. Again, that's one thing I love about your podcast. It's like it's authentic. It's not you're not fronting on something that you don't know, or you're not speaking to people that what I'm saying that aren't bringing that same sort of authenticity to it. So like, that's one thing I've enjoyed about watching your cast up
Thank
to
you.
this point.
Yeah, for sure,
It's
for
like,
sure.
and that's why
Appreciate it.
I was pining to get on at some point. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
again, I think that Tacoma needs to be on the map. Like this is my and the one thing that I've really learned, my guy, is that like when I first came up, like and I was getting out of Tacoma, experiencing some corporate life and things like that. I try to change everything about myself. I looked at coming from Tacoma as a negative. Because
Mm-hmm.
there's a stereotype that comes with when you tell people you're from Tacoma that are from the Northwest, they know what Tacoma is. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
there's something that comes with that. And so I try to hide it. I changed the way I spoke. I changed the way I dressed. I was trying to fit a model that I thought needed to fit in order to get these type of jobs. And when I
Mm-hmm.
was doing it, bro, like I wasn't getting any interviews. I
Yeah, you
wasn't
wasn't you though,
meeting
because you wasn't
genuine
you.
people.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
you
me.
wasn't you.
So
Yeah, you wasn't you. Mm-hmm.
you asked me early in the podcast what's something that like they people need to get to where they want to get to, and
Yeah.
mentors. So I met my mentor, my guy, dude. And again, I don't know if he just like seen the look on my face that I felt lost. This dude came in out of left field and like saved me. I wouldn't be working at Microsoft if it wasn't for this guy. He's a Chinese cat, again, from the hood, out
Mm-hmm.
went to Rainier Beach, South
Mm-hmm.
Seattle. And so me and him connected pretty quickly. And the dude, again, bro, like the dude's making six figures. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone up there is essentially making six figures, to be honest with you, if you're a full-time employee with Microsoft. And like I at that point had been talking to a bunch of different people and getting a bunch of bad advice. And I saw this dude and I kind of watched him a little bit. This dude making six figures hops out of like a 1984 beat up Honda Accord. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, not driving no Tesla, no Mercedes, like literally hopping out of a busted ass whip.
Mm-hmm.
But what got me, man, I was behind this dude in line to get coffee. And this dude gave the same respect to the barista that and attention to the barista and to the receptionist as he did when I saw him in a meeting with like directors and vice presidents and like executives. I'm like, this is a
Mm-hmm.
genuine cat right here. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I literally
Yeah.
walked in his office one day, was like, hey man,
Authentic.
yeah, I was like, hey, I've been watching you for a little while. I see how you operate. My name's Thomas. I work down here. I really want to get to Microsoft as a full-time employee, man. Is there any guidance you can help me with? And he took me under his wing, bro. He literally like gave me the formula. It was like, first off, get your resume right. He was like, and more importantly, bro, he was like, what do you want and why do you want it? He's like, Microsoft, a big company, man. Like, what are you trying to do? And I looked at this dude, was like, what do you do? He was like, I'm a program manager. I was like, I want to be a program manager. Like, and he was like, so he like walked me through what that is.
Yeah.
And this is crazy. Again, the universe. He ends up leaving Microsoft. He goes somewhere else. And then I end up going to another company, another different contracting company. Um, I end up being remember I told you what account manager? I end up being an account manager.
Yeah.
And I actually have a contract that I think he would be good at because we ended up staying in touch. So I hit him up.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, Dave, I got this contract. I think you'd be awesome at, the money's right. The vibe is right. I'd love for you to come in and interview for it. And he don't call me
Mm.
back. I'm like, bro, the next day I go into my client's office, the same client that I was going to pitch for him, he's sitting in there interviewing for a full-time job with Microsoft with my client. I was like, what? Like, hold on real quick. Like, so I go do right. They have the interview. I go back to my client. I'm like, I don't know what you're interviewing that guy for, but I stamp, like, if my opinion counts for anything, you need to hire this dude. Like, he's
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah.
Like, and I just boom, boom, boom. So he ends up getting the job.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a year later, uh, I end up getting a job on that same team. Me and this dude end up sharing an office together, worked
Wow.
together for 3 years.
Uh,
I
uh.
followed his blueprint so closely that we end up sharing an office.
You was on it.
Yeah,
You was
bro.
on it. That's
Again,
dedication.
it's a sponge. Like I tell everybody, man, if you like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Like if there's someone doing what you want to be doing, like man, be a sponge. Like make it your own. Do it your own way. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like I mean, once I saw people doing it, I was like, it's possible. Was it easy? No. Microsoft rejected me over 1,000 times. Back in the day, Microsoft would only let you submit 10 applications a day. You could submit up to 10 applications a day. I submitted 10 applications every single day for an entire year, nonstop. That that's how much rejection I got. And I didn't get one callback. I didn't get one interview. I got zero, nothing. It wasn't until actually, to be honest with you, I was like, you know what, Microsoft, maybe this ain't the right time. I'm gonna go be the best consultant I can be. I'm gonna go kill the consulting game. I'm gonna do this until an opportunity presents itself. And then my client, and again, I was always low key trying to get in. So my client at the time, my Microsoft client, they had an open position. I went to my dude and was like, hey, like, I don't know if you guys are hiring for that position, but if you are, I'm interested. And they're like, we really like you, but we don't hire our contractors for full-time positions here. I was like, oh, okay, no worries. You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny because like I could have took that as like, a hit and been like, oh, these guys are no good. They don't want to hire me, and had an attitude. But I took that as, okay, I respect that. I'm still gonna work hard and deliver and do everything I need to do for you and go above and beyond. You fast forward a year later, I'm actually leaving to go to a different company. At the time, and so I go back to my client and I'm like, hey man, just want to say thank you. It's been a great opportunity. I'll be rolling off this project. I'll be going somewhere new. Just want to let you guys know that it's been an amazing time with you guys. And there's two crazy Mexican dudes, straight out of Mexico. And so the dude calls me back and goes, hey, can you come into the office tomorrow morning? And boom, I knew it. I had him. Like they're like, well, since you're leaving, we would love to, give you this, present you with this opportunity to go interview for this role since you're already leaving. I was like, all right. And then that's how I ended up getting in. So that's how a business student um, got into engineering. And they was straight up with me. They were like, hey, we're taking a chance on you. Like you may fail at this. You're not an engineer. And uh, and so if you're willing to take a chance on us and fail, we're willing to take a chance on you. And that's how I ended up getting into my first engineering role at Microsoft. But there's so many ways to do it. Like Deborah, so I jumped around to new jobs every 2 years. Again, that's something I love about the tech industry. You ain't got to stay. You ain't got to go in and be like, oh, I'm going to work here for 20 years.
Yeah, you
Nah,
can move
you got to be
around.
there
You can
two
move around.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't look at it as a negative. They actually look at it as a positive. They're like, hey, man, like
You
that's
got
just
more experience.
Microsoft
Yeah.
is 2 years are out. You're either moving up in your org or you're moving out of your org. So like Deborah did it differently. Deborah's a G. So she stayed with the same consulting company for 10 years. She did different roles within the company, like started off as like just a normal employee, ended up running the team eventually because it's Deborah and she's a boss, and it was only just it was only a matter of time before she did it. And then she went over to Microsoft as a full-time employee. But so again, I jumped around every 2 years, and then that's how I got in. She stayed with the same company.
Uh,
But this is where the beauty is. Okay, there's a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? So when my sister, she ended up marrying a dude in the military, my brother-in-law, my guy. He's from Tacoma, went to Mount Tahoma. He ends up going to the Air Force. So they end up bouncing around to like Nebraska, New Mexico. And then while she was out, she ended up getting her degree. So guess what? When she came back to the Northwest, she moved back down to 5 and she has a degree. I'm like, okay, this is what we do. We put you at Volt. We get you some work experience because you've been out the game. And then boom, let's go get you to Sogetti. She was at Sogetti 2 years. She was only at that Sogetti company for 2 years. Now
yeah.
she's a full-time employee with Microsoft, making 6 figures.
Uh,
Teenage mom from Tacoma. And you want to talk about my sister Tacoma through and through. You know what I'm talking about. The slick back in the day, the slick back down hair, the puffy jacket, the big
yeah,
old
yeah, the
hoop
big
earrings. You
jacket,
know
the
what
big earrings,
I
all that.
mean? Yeah.
All
Got the
that, man.
accent, but don't even know what.
What accent is that? Like, what is that accent?
I don't know. I'm like, it's not Hispanic. It's a hood accent. It comes out when she angry too, still. But you know what I'm saying? So like she did it
It
too. My boy
always
Nick,
does.
yeah, my boy Nick, he did it in 3 years and 8 months. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
like when I think of progress, like that's progress. And now again, I'm privileged, bro. I get to go back to my community and be like, yo, this, I'm not saying you have to do it this way. Like I never have the audacity to tell somebody that, if you do these things, you will be successful. There's too many variables. Everybody's different. Like I don't sit, you know, I can never, I would never feel right about telling someone, how to do something. What I do is I share, this is how I did it. Now, if you want to follow those same footsteps, by all means, I'm gonna let you know it works. But
Yeah,
what I'm saying, you got to do it the way Bruce Lee said it best. You take what's useful, you disregard what's not, and what's left you make uniquely your own. But by that I mean like you do it your own way. You ain't got to do it because someone else did it that way. Because there's so many pathways. But where our community is lacking is information. Again, everyone laughed at me, Trey, because no one in our neighborhood did it. Nobody from the South. I did not know one person. Right now, there's
hmm,
4 of us from Mount Tahoma that work at Microsoft. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And now I'm putting a panel together where all 4 of us can go speak to some students because they need different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? So like we try to give them as many different perspectives as possible. And again, but for me, bro, like, and it starts with getting a degree. Like I tell all the students, like I know college ain't for everybody. Not everyone's gonna, be able to do it. But if you can find a way, whether that's to be through loans, grants, I worked full time while I was going to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like you said earlier, it's about swallowing your pride. Like, you from where I'm from. So like, when I was in college, bro, I was a receptionist. I was working at a warehouse. I quit
hmm,
because I'm like, man, that's not giving me no experience that I need to be able to work at a Microsoft. I need like office experience. So I started walking around my neighborhood and just walking into buildings and like asking if there was any opportunities for like administrative roles. And I ended up walking into Coldwell Banker Bain in UP, and they had an open position for a receptionist. And so I took it. You know what I'm saying?
hey,
Thank you
man,
for
what
calling Coldwell Banker Bain.
there, there you go. That's your superpower again, kicking in right there. That's your
But
superpower king kicking in. My
try
damn
telling
do
the
rag.
homies that you was a receptionist, bro. That don't go. You got to be able to swallow your pride, put your ego
Hmm.
aside, because then I got laughed at. And I'm like, that's a girl's job. That's a woman's job. I'm like, bro, I'm getting experience here that's gonna benefit me in the future. You don't have the vision that I have. I need this. I need some of this experience, and I still use the skills that I got from that receptionist job even today. One of the best jobs I ever had, man.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I ain't had no.
And it's not
I
even
ain't
about
been a
listening to people.
receptionist. I went to the wildest gig I had in college. I think it was my sophomore year, maybe. Yeah, I worked at
What
the
were you
Gap.
doing?
I worked at the Gap in the mall.
Hey,
Yeah, that was still
bro, I worked at Macy's. I feel
straight
you.
from straight from Tacoma, man. I was like, man, I am at the Gap. Because
That's
one of the guys
you
in the
was in the
dorm was
Gap.
working there. Yeah, he was one of the guys in the dorm was working, man. They was having a little bit of money. They was having extra money. I was, I got tired of bumming off them. I was like, well, if I can get a ride to work with you guys, let me work. Let me work. I'm hopping in the car with them guys.
Yeah,
I was hopping in the whip, man.
that's
Definitely. I was at the
hilarious.
Gap. I was at the I started off stalking, then I got caught on the floor one time. And after that, they said, oh, you need to be out on the floor in men's jeans and boys' jeans. So I'll just stand over there. And I was so tall when
Yeah,
people needed help, they would,
they see
they
you
was
from
like,
a
hey,
mile away.
oh yeah, yeah,
Hey, grab
yeah.
me that way up there, please.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick. I'll just walk around the store grabbing things that was too high for all the short people. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, bro,
I did it for a
you're
little
needed
bit.
in every store,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I've had 27 jobs.
Uh,
27. I've sold fire safety equipment door to door. I've sold vacuum
yeah,
Kirby's. I sold those
yeah,
door to door. I freaking done every multi-level marketing thing that you could ever think of. Like I worked at the mall. I worked at a warehouse. I was a receptionist. Like I worked as administrative assistant. Like, bro, like I done a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? I failed at a lot of different things. But for me, it was just like, and this is what I tell the young ones too, bro. I like, you know what? 20s are for learning. Let your 30s be for earning. You know what I mean? Like for real, 20s is for learning, 30s is for earning. Like, and I'm not saying be broke during your 20s. I don't tell them that. I'm like, if you can find something that gets you paid, do it. But your 20s should be about experimenting. Like you should treat your life like an experiment. Like, and guess what? You try something, you don't like it, get out. Like I was a marketing assistant for a financial advisor because I thought I wanted to be in the wealth management. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm gonna make money, let me go ahead and be in that money game. I
yeah,
quickly realized was like, you know what? They not out here helping their clients. They're just selling them whatever they get the biggest profit off of from a product perspective. I was like, nah, I'm good. So like you me, man, I quit. Um, because at the end of the day, if I ever did stuff that didn't align with like my principles and who I am as a person, my character, I quit. Like,
you're
because
just out.
it
Like
can't
I'm
work.
gone.
Yeah, yeah. I was working at Wells Fargo as as a teller, uh, and the dude, my manager, was telling me he was like, "Oh yeah, we're about to, we want to make you a personal banker." I think is the name of the title. He's like, "I got you. You're gonna be my next personal banker." They're like, "This guy over here is about to quit in 2 weeks. So when he quits, we'll put you in as that." Um, and so like I'm like, okay, bet. And so I go talk to the guy and I'm like, oh man, I heard you're quitting. Like, where you going? He's like, I'm not quitting. I'm like, this manager lie shit to my face, like trying to. He was trying to put that little carrot in front of me, right? Just get me working hard and keep me like getting him those, because tellers back in the day, I don't know if it's like that today, but like you were a salesperson. You didn't just transact. You had to like upgrade people. You had to move people to different accounts. Like they had you on like a quota, and I was killing it. So he was, and then I was like, so he was trying to keep that carrot going, tell me I have opportunity. So, bro, I told the dude, I was like, hey man, I'm going to lunch, and I never came back.
Oh, you just mobbed out. Like I'm
Yeah, bro.
gone.
Yeah, because I'm like,
This
you
what's
ain't
not
giving a
gonna
lie to my
happen.
face.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
gone. Yeah,
because
for real.
I'm like, these little $12, $10 jobs, I can go find a bunch of these. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I was like, nah, man. Like, I, and to this day, like when I hire people, I don't even hire people for their skill sets. I hire their character. I can train you. You know what I mean? A lot of people understand
hmm
that you can be trained for the job. Like any job you
yeah,
go into, there's going to be some sort of training program, on ramp,
hmm
onboarding, ramping up. Like, we got you. Now, like, what's your character like? You know what I mean? You the type of person that gives up when it gets hard? Are you the type of
hmm
person that operates from a position of compassion and understanding, or are you, you just shoot from the hip? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of energy are you going to bring into my business? You know what I'm saying? So like when
hmm
I hired people, I had character. It's funny. So
Mhm.
even the homegirl that used to live down the street, she had a kid. She had gotten laid off from her job. Just simple fact that I knew where she was from. I knew she was from my neighborhood. I was like, I know the type of hustler you are. Come on. You don't have no experience. But you have a college degree. Come on. And she's killing it. She's over a full-time employee at Starbucks right now, murdering it. Because I
Mhm.
mean, there's a certain type of hustle that comes with where we from. Like it's ingrained. And
Yeah.
that was one of the things that frustrated me about Mongo. Like he got, so when I tell you, whenever I get an opportunity, I always share it. Like I got him
Yeah.
when I worked at the warehouse. I got Mongo a job at the warehouse too. This boy
Yeah.
got fired in 2 weeks. He like, that's when we knew. I was like, bro, like you're not meant for this, the doing this over here. Like you meant for bigger things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was meant to push us all to do what we doing now.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
would have been the best motivational speaker out. Like honestly, like there's,
It was on its way, man. It was on its way.
yeah,
Because
he's the type of
between the
person.
thing he was doing, what you guys were talking about, and then he told me about it. He was like, "You should do one too, and we should do one together, all three of us." He was like, "We can sit down and figure out something." So it was all in the process. So either way, there was a podcast coming. There was a
Oh yeah,
podcast
no,
coming. It was on its way, you know. Um,
yeah.
and here we
This
are.
is one of the mics that I bought
Uh, yeah,
to
yeah.
go
You got
to start up our podcast. I had the camera, I had the mics. We was ready to rock, man. Like it was literally right before went into the hospital.
That's
We
what
were
I'm
starting
saying.
to
It was
like plan
recent.
it and
Yeah,
plot it,
yeah. It was
and
recent
then
because he had just brought it to me. I didn't look. I didn't even know. Well, I knew what a podcast was, but I hadn't been listening to no podcast or watching the podcast. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
after that, after he had passed, I'm thinking podcast. Okay. So I started listening to him. Then I started finding the videos of him. I was like, oh, okay. Now, there's a couple I deal with, I rock with, man. But I mean, that's basically when I started. So you got all that equipment. You need to go ahead and get it popping.
Yeah, it's funny. Like again, I so when I was really starting to start doing it, like I did a couple of
Mhm.
TikTok videos and I was really starting to like really think about it. And then I got into grad school and I didn't think I was gonna get in. Like I told you, I
Oh,
graduated with
okay.
like a
Yeah.
2.7 GPA. Well, I realized that once you have 10 years Microsoft experience and all this, like your GPA don't matter no more. So I
Mhm.
didn't even think I applied to grad school, not even thinking I was gonna get in, dude, to be honest with you. I only applied because me and Mongo had talked about it before he passed away, and it was something on my bucket list. And I was like, what am I waiting for? So and grad school is no joke, bro. Like I thought I'd have time to do other stuff. Like, nah. Like,
No,
working
no,
full
no.
time, a full time dad, you sprinkle grad school on top, bro. I respect anybody who's doing it because
It's
that's
a
a
wrap.
tough road. And then COVID came along, so that changed the whole thing up. So like,
Mhm.
but I'm happy to say I graduated, 3.9 GPA. I got my
Bada
diploma
bing,
sitting
bada
on my
bang.
piano right now. Yeah,
Oh,
and the
look
best
at
part
him.
is,
Look at the small flex. He got the diploma sitting on
oh,
his
bro,
piano. Okay.
I'm proud of that. Well, I'm gonna frame it. I'm gonna give it to my grandma. To be honest with you, like,
Oh,
cause
the one what she say? What she say? What you
yeah,
going? What she say? What you gonna do at Microsoft? Ain't that what she said?
yeah, that's what
Yeah.
she said.
Yeah,
But
that's what she
she
said.
always,
What you gonna do for
the
Microsoft?
thing.
That was more of a challenge though. That's that good grammar. Like, what you gonna
That's
do?
what it was.
That's what it was. It was
Yeah.
what you gonna do.
No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
She wasn't hating by no means. She was. She
No,
knew
no,
my
no. That
grandma. That's
was
the
a
thing I love about my
challenge.
grandma.
Yeah, that was
She
a
knew how to
challenge,
motivate me.
man. Yeah, man. Grandmas are
But even,
special. Grandmas are special, man, for real.
oh, bro, if it wasn't for my grandma, bro, I wouldn't be the person I am. I wouldn't have the character that I have. Like, I think I love about my grandma, man. Like, again, I told you I was a trouble youth. I got in trouble all the time,
Hmm.
and like, she loved me regardless. Like, she was one of the people in my life that no matter what I was going through, no matter how
Hmm.
bad it got, like, she loved me. And the thing she did for me the most is that she allowed me to be myself. Like, I didn't have to like change up who I was or how like my grandma loved me for me, and she gave me the truth every time, bro. You know how if I when you go to my grandma's house, you can expect three things. One, you're gonna get love. Two, you're gonna eat good. Three, somebody gonna cry. 'Cause
Huh.
she gonna lay into
Uh,
somebody. Like and I had a smart mouth, so I always had something to say. I'm like, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, Grandma, you got an accent. You from the Philippines. You don't know how this is over here. Nah,
yeah.
she was a philosophy major. She was a teacher. She like
Uh,
one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. And bro, you don't know how many times she like everybody. So my grandma just sold her house in West Seattle. Okay, this
mhm,
woman never really had a full-time job since she came here. Like, yet she got a multi-million-dollar portfolio from investing. Like, I mean, hardcore investing. She just sold her house in West Seattle for like 900,000, moved into a beautiful little retirement community. And I mean, just ridiculously smart financially, ridiculously smart, like from a family perspective. And just, I mean, she's the centerpiece of our family.
mhm.
And at the end of the day, man, she everyone's like, when she sold her house, everyone's like taking like, certain things and like, moment, like she's giving all her stuff away essentially because she's moving into like a little 1-bedroom apartment. And so the thing
Downsize
that
it a little bit.
the thing that I took was the dictionary. So I grew up, every time like me and my grandma would argue about the definition of words. Cause I'm like,
Uh-huh,
in my mind, I'm like, English not even your first language. You don't know.
uh-huh.
So my entire life, she would sit me down and be like, pull the dictionary out. Every time I was there, she'd be like, pull the dictionary out. So when we was taking stuff, I was like, nah, I need that dictionary. I need that old dusty cover coming off dictionary so I could put that in my house as my memento. But now I'm
Uh,
excited, man. I'm excited to hand her over the diploma. And it's funny, one of my aunts came up to me. We were talking. She was like, T, I'll be honest, out of your brothers and the siblings and the cousins, she was like, I didn't think you were gonna be the one.
uh,
Oh
yeah, it
man,
must
but
be
I'm just
nice, man. That's that persistence, man.
oh, it's so nice, man. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
smart. I no, there's not a room that I go into, man, that I'm the smartest dude there.
That
Like
means
for
you're in
me,
some
man, like
good
you said, it's
rooms.
persistence. It good. Oh man,
Yeah, those are
I
good
heard a
rooms to
saying. I
be
heard a
in.
saying. You hang out with Denzel Washington said. I heard Denzel Washington say this in a video the other day. He goes, "If you hang out with 9 broke people, you're gonna be the 10th. You hang out with 9, dumb people, you're gonna be the 10th, right?" And so, man, that stuck with me, bro. Like when we started elevating our circle, everything else around us elevated. Like, I mean, I never thought in a million years coming out to Tacoma, I'd be rubbing elbows with millionaires, having dinners with like, you know, CIOs of companies and like
Mhm,
vice presidents of companies and like
mhm,
talking like investment strategies and things. I,
mhm,
I never in a million years would have thought that.
mhm,
And now that it's happening, bro, like I'm realizing again, man, like these guys, they're not like in these women, like they're not doing anything different. Someone just told them how to do it. So like I work with like 22-year-olds fresh out of
yeah,
college that are making
they're
six
not doing nothing
figures.
different. They just had the information. They had it.
They had the information. They had it. Someone
Yeah,
had, hey, go to college, get this degree, get your internship, you win. Like they just knew exactly what to do and they was in the right community and circle. So for
yeah.
me, again, I can't get no one a job. Like I'm not the guy that's gonna be like, hey, come up here and I'll give me a resume and I got you. That's not even me. But I can give you the correct information and put you in the guide you in the right direction that if you really want to
Mhm,
make it happen, you can make it happen at the end of the day. But my I was talking to my uncle. He's a teacher in the Federal Way School District or an administrator now, and that's what he was
mhm,
saying. He was like, "It's not a lack of talent. These kids got talent. They're smart. They're motivated. They're ambitious. They want to go get it. Just they don't know what to go get. No one told them. Like Microsoft is 30 miles away from Tacoma. It's in our backyard. We have some of the biggest corporations, the biggest tech sectors in the entire world. But you'd be surprised. I go to Mount Tacoma and I ask how many kids are looking at Microsoft as an opportunity. They're not, because no one actually came in there and told them that it's a possibility. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and I go lie. If I ain't seen that Ferrari in that parking lot, I would. That is the only reason I put Microsoft, because I seen a Ferrari parked in a Ferrari in person, not on a
Yeah,
video, not like in person. I
yeah, it was
saw a
right there.
Ferrari and I was like,
Yeah.
it was right in front of me, and so in my mind, I correlated that with Microsoft my entire life. So that was like 13 years old 12 years old when I saw that Ferrari. And so
Mhm,
when I was out to 16, what I want to do with my life, I knew I didn't want to be broke. I know I didn't want to, stay in my current situation. So I put Microsoft, and with persistence and grit, man. And you in the hoop game, you went pro with it. Like, that you got to have some grit if you're going to be in it. Like, I don't care what industry you in. I don't care what path you're trying to go down. If you ain't got a certain level of grit, matter of fact, they did a study. I think it was in the South Side of Chicago, one of the roughest neighborhoods. A lady by the name of Angela Duckworth, and there's actually a really cool TED talk about this. They did a study, and they wanted to determine why some students graduated high school and why some students didn't graduate. And they were measuring it by, like, all right, is it your economic situation? Is it your home life? Is it your IQ, which we normally get tested on our IQ, right? Like, what is it that actually allows some students to succeed and excel, and some students fail? You know what they found out? It's not the IQ. It's not the home life. It's not the economic situation. It's the grit. The more grit a student has, the more grit a person has, the farther they go. And a grit essentially is the ability to sustain and be persistent for a goal for a long period of time, towards a goal for a long period of time. Because, like, man, life's a journey, bro. It tends to happen in sprints, but life's a journey. And I think of it as like, if you're walking up a staircase and playing with a yo-yo, like, yo-yo is your life, going up and down, up and down. But as long as you're taking steps in the right direction and moving in that right direction, you're going to get there. Like, take it from somebody that's had 27 jobs, got fired from more than I'd like to admit, like, failed time and time again, come from a divorced family, underrepresented community, expelled from high school, 7 years to get my 4-year degree, 12 years to finally get the dream job. Like, if I can make it and I can do it, I sit here with confidence to say that other people can do it as well. I just had a certain level of grit, man.
Bang, 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 bang. If I had the little buttons, I would make some sound effects go on right now. And that's how it happened, man. The man went and told you, man, it's grit. It's grit. Put in the work, put in the work. And the grit. I like that, man. Hey, look, man, I appreciate you sharing your story. It's a beautiful thing. It was good touching bases with you again. We're going to touch bases again because something about the Microsoft and the podcasting, there's some type of correlation in there that we got to figure out. We'll figure it out, but
100%.
There's something going on in that aspect, and we are in the Northwest, and there's podcasts going on. There's got to be something going on with that. We got to figure it out, and we will.
Man, so much opportunity.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, and the next time we speak, I want to go on a detail that athletes make the best people in the business world. Like, someone told me that earlier in my career, and it has stuck with me. And I truly believe with all my heart that athletes that have that level of competitiveness, understand what it's like to work in a team, understand the ups, the flows of losing and winning, and, like, can stay even, bro. They make the best people in the sales world. They make the best people as project managers. Like, man, it is, when careers end and that sports side of it ends, man, there's so much opportunity for someone with that type of talent. And someone told me that, though. I'm not even saying that. Someone told me that athletes make the best salespeople and they make the best people to be in the business world. So that I'd love to touch on that topic next time we speak.
Oh yeah, we might have to do that. We might have to do that. Well, that's it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Crucial Conversations. And I'm gonna tell you like this: the greatest and the longest conversation you have will be the one you have with yourself. Speak to yourself accordingly.
these niggas keep talking, these things will run upon them. You see they body soften, cause I ain't having that. You hear that pistol cocking, 2 shots, now shells are dropping. Dying is not an option, now you can't bring them back. I've seen the other side, cousins, mothers, and brothers die. As soon as they rush, I dust them and they can all get brushed aside. Man, fuck them other guys, rip shots that have them clutch their sides. Bloody eyes come from gunfights and you get stuck with rusty knives.